The Spotlight brought to you by Beacon Plumbing.
Good evening and welcome to The Spotlight. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Rose. And tonight we're going to pay tribute to a hero.
It's just, they ain't even that. They like, okay. But I'm just saying, do you notice it? He's all the way out there. I'm not saying nothing about them. You notice that even the hard ones, they like, shit. That's a Irish. They like, shit.
Repeat offenders are running wild. The violence and disregard for the law is rampant, and the politics aren't protecting people like they're intended to. And innocent victims are being hurt and killed every week.
Let me play this video.
This was a senseless act where, over 12 people got injured, where people was out there with their families for Easter, and he was out there trying to get things for festivities that was going on this weekend that he was going to. It's all senseless. We send our sincere sympathy to those that were hurt, those that were traumatized.
According to Columbia Police, they don't believe at this time that any of those injured in the mall were involved in a shooting, but say they were all
wow. No one injured was involved.
Bystanders. Investigators releasing new
we can
details
run down
about the
here.
shooting overnight, bringing the total injured to 14 from 12. Columbia Police say the oldest person hurt was 73 years old. The youngest was 15.
Look at that chasm. 15 to 70. These niggas are reckless.
Those who weren't shot face broke.
What?
Oh, I was going to say, I like how the media is downplaying this. 10, 12 people injured, wounded. They were fucking shot.
This is life-threatening.
Yeah, like, that shit crazy.
It's just sad.
2 bands to get out, man.
2 bands.
Shooting 13, that's all it costs?
And they got him in court with a mask on. Like, who cares if this motherfucker get coronavirus, man?
I was thinking that shit. The lawyer don't have one on. He said, where are your thug energy at in that courtroom? I want to hear all that drill music when you in that courtroom.
Shootings in public, at public places. Here we go, right here. All right, here we go.
Thank you. Developing tonight, North Las Vegas police are investigating a shooting at a house party. This happened at a home near Lone Mountain and Simmons just after 11 last night. Police say 2
How much you want to bet that was an Airbnb?
adults and 2
That's
children
gonna be a what
were
now?
hurt after an argument.
That was an Airbnb. I bet it was an Airbnb.
Oh, shit.
Of course, I mean, when they have these parties, man, they usually always rent them out in Airbnbs.
After an argument led to gunfire, one of the adults is in serious condition with several gunshot wounds. Police have not arrested a suspect here, and that investigation.
Are you guys following the context clues? An argument led to gunfire, nobody in custody. That's some Negroes. That's Sunday. Salute to Jimmy.
They vanish in the thin air. It always amazes me how the fuck everybody can vanish the fuck away.
Well, here's the thing.
You shoot in front of 100 people, nobody see it, do nothing.
That's part of it. And when there's a shooting in the white area and the cops show up, everybody's talking to the cops, giving information. So the cops they got the car description. They might even have the license plate. They got a description of the suspects. Because you got to understand, cops, they don't need much. You know what I'm saying? They just need a little bit of help. Because they have so many cops out there patrolling and thinking, blah, blah, blah. But the black community, they show up. It's 100 people laid out dying, people bleeding to death. And you walk up to the women, the mothers, and I don't see shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very hard to solve cases like that when even the women, because you can see the thugs, the hardened thugs, the criminals not cooperating, but the women, the grandmothers, the mothers, or the people that would be mothers, you know what I'm saying? They're not cooperating, so you can't get anything from anybody.
They need to be like that glider grandma. They need to die.
Yeah, I gotta do a video on her. I haven't got a chance to get to that one, but Yeah, make sure if you check out the last live stream on Friday. That was an explosive live stream. Make sure you guys match Jimmy, man. Jimmy's is the reason y'all have a show tonight, man. Because I really no joke, man. I mean, like I really
he do his thing.
I could just make videos for my other channel, Ock Nation News, all day. I could have spent the night making. I could have made all these videos for that channel and put them up there and got the AdSense. But salute to Jimmy, man, for
Yeah, right on, man.
supporting the channel, man. And make sure y'all match him, man.
Hey, I really appreciate you for doing, some Sunday and Monday shows, because I work Tuesday through Saturday, overnight, 5 to 5. So
yeah,
I really
man.
appreciate these shows right here.
Like the third week in a row, we did Monday. We did Sunday on Monday. So yeah, so salute, man. Salute to Jimmy, man. Y'all thank Jimmy for that.
You can find that quite a bit. In fact, Dr. Tommy Curry was with us also in August, just a few days before Dr. Welsing, and he had, wow, a lot of really important contextual things to say that would apply right now. We were very active in that month, August 2014. But context, this is a great illustration of context, and even you can look at the context of your particular situation or predicament and find similar context, and you might be able to find logic that will work well for you.
And here we are with all of these cases. Every week, every other day, there's another case. But nobody says, well, let's bring in this former policeman who's written about it. Let's bring him in. We don't have to keep having all of this discussion. Was there intention? Obviously, based on what Mr. Stamper says about the attitudes and the kind of continuous dialogue between police officers, white police officers, there is intention. Do you see? So in other words, when the white police officer got out of his automobile and was approaching Michael Brown, he had something in mind. Perchance it is exactly what Mr. Norm Stamper has witnessed and has given written testimony to.
Context of white supremacy, I will definitely ask him about that if he's being called in by other media outlets to talk about these types of incidents and what he says in his book, or even to testify. I think that's a good question as well, to see if any prosecutors or attorneys have brought him in to give testimony in a court case that might provide some evidence as to why these types of shootings continue to happen. I'll be sure to ask him, and again, he'll be here on Thursday.
But yeah, so we've had this mass shooting right here will get 0. Think about it. The 3 we just talked about, 9, 10, 11, 12 people, it didn't get any coverage on the mainstream news media. This one gets a 20-second spot on the local news.
This shit is developing tonight. North Las Vegas police are investigating a shooting at a house party. This happened at a home near Lone Mountain and Simmons just after 11 last night. Police say 2 adults and 2 children were hurt after an argument led to gunfire. One of the adults is in serious condition with several gunshot wounds. Police have not arrested a suspect here, and that investigation is ongoing.
Doesn't matter. A savior comes and says, I will lead you. So we have 2 alternatives here. Civil war and invasion. Okay? See how it goes? Civil war, we know what it is. Lebanon is the best example. The civil war, which was artificially implanted in Lebanon by injection of force of PLO, Palestinian Liberation Organization. Invasion we have in many other countries like Afghanistan, name any East European country, it was invaded by the Soviet army. But the result is the same. The next stage is normalization. Normalization is a very ironic word, of course.
And that's it. and the local news. The other channel didn't even cover it. The other channel didn't even cover it. The other channel I went to didn't even have a story on it. This one has a 20-second one. That's it. That's it. 4 people shot, 2 adults, 2 kids, house party, 20 seconds.
And after them, New York Times declared the country is normalized. The tanks moved into Prague, so there's no more Prague Spring, there's no more violence. Normalization.
Just some injuries.
Crazy shit.
It's really.
They want more casualties.
But it really shows what they think about us, man. Like they, at this point, people are like, this is just what they do. You know what I'm saying? It's just what we do. There's no point in making a big deal about it. This is what we do. Let me see what some of these other ones. Okay, the Philly had one. Let me see if I can find the Philly one.
And tune in, hear what he has to say. I guess the one thing I did want to ask, because this comes up a lot where we hear that white people are afraid of black people, and this can even be happening at a subconscious level for the white people, particularly if we're talking about white enforcement officials that are involved in these shootings. Many folks have said, just observing the behavior of whites, they don't seem to be petrified. They don't seem to be in a state of just total terror where they are immobilized or can't think, can't operate. They seem to be perfectly capable of gunning down a black person, killing a black person, and moving on. They're saying that it just does not seem like they are afraid, even in some of these cases of these shootings of black people. The black person, as you said, has been unarmed and or fleeing, where they were trying to get away, where there really was no reason for them to be fearful. And they just wanted, if you could, I guess, expound on that, why it seems that many times these white people, they just do not appear to be afraid at all. It seems to be an excuse to justify killing a black person. Sometimes this is just an excuse to justify practicing racism and even killing a black person or large numbers of black people where there is nothing to be afraid of, and the white people themselves don't even seem to be fearful. It just seems that they wanted to practice racism, including killing a black person. And they just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Well, see, in other words, we have conscious and subconscious thinking. And so let's say a fear can be at a subconscious level in terms of the fear, as I call it, the fear of white genetic annihilation. And so white people are not going around, for the most part, consciously thinking, you can cause my genetic annihilation, because the thinking within the white supremacy system and culture is that white is genetically superior. They don't admit to themselves that white is a genetic recessive trait. But the reality is that white is a genetic recessive trait. But white people cover that with the thinking and the pronouncement that white is genetically superior. So if you're thinking you're genetically superior, that you are genetically better, stronger, etc., than people of color, then you're not simultaneously thinking at a conscious level that what it really is that your genetics are recessive and that black can cause your genetic annihilation. So white people are functioning at the conscious level in terms of the hype, let's say it that way, or the mindset in the system of white supremacy. But what is actually controlling their behavior is at the subconscious level that is reflective of reality. See, you can deny reality at the conscious level, but not at the subconscious level. Is that clear?
It does make sense to me. I will encourage other folks, if they're listening in, feel free to share. But that does make sense, what you just laid out, particularly about that fear being perhaps operating at a subconscious level in terms of some of these actions. Also, I've heard a lot of people, much of the dialogue, just because of the the more public incidents over the past month or so, it's all been around black males. Eric Garner in New York, Ezell Ford in California, John Crawford III in Ohio, obviously Mike Brown in Missouri, and many folks have said, and I think correctly, that black females, black children also have a very tough time with enforcement officers. I know most recently, I think a lot of folks saw the video footage of Marlene Pinnock, the black female who was beaten savagely by white California highway patrolmen, where they had video of this. Even the professor in Arizona, Dr. Ursula Orr, where she was slammed on the ground, they said, for quote-unquote jaywalking, even though you can see in the video that other white people are walking on the same part of the street as she has, and they didn't get ticketed or slammed on the ground, arrested, and everything else that happened to her. Do you think that should be an important part of the dialogue as well, that this does not just happen to black males?
Well, it happens mostly to black males. See, I would dare say that black males are stopped driving while black 10 times, 50 times more often than are black females. It doesn't mean that black females are exempt. But again, I say that black females are not feared in the same way, even though black females have the same genetic material, but they cannot impose sexual intercourse. And so they are not feared in terms of being a potential initiator of white genetic annihilation. So that when whites move to try to, what shall I say, respond to their fear of genetic annihilation, they make an instrument called a gun that is a replica, not of female genitalia, but of male genitalia. So that the diagrams that are in the ISIS papers, and if you just look at a schematic view of male genitalia, testicle, phallus, testicle, if you looked at the lateral view and you have phallus, testicle, you turn that around 90 degrees, and your schematic drawing looks just like a gun. And the gun is called in the white culture the great equalizer. So then the question is, equal to what? Do you see? And my answer is that when the white subconscious looks at the black male, it's as though, the brain computer is saying about the black male, you have a weapon, you have a genetic or genital apparatus that can cause my genetic annihilation. Must create weapon, can do same thing. And that's the gun. And that's why the gun is called the great equalizer.
Wow. Does that go to your theory in terms of explaining what they call overshooting, where they said Michael Brown, he was shot?
Yes.
Wow.
Let me give you another example, a kind of parallel example, where white females will go through, and this is not every white female, but for those who do. I'm afraid of the black man. He wants to attack me. And so then if you ask a white female, what is your ideal mate? She doesn't say tall, blonde, and handsome. She says what? Tall, dark, and handsome. But it's projected as though the black male wants to attack her, whereas in reality, she's thinking my ideal mate would be tall, dark, and handsome. So it's completely turned around. It's just like the white male saying, I'm afraid of him, but the white male has all the weapons. And so neither one is really talking. I say that people who classify themselves as white have created for the last 500 or so years a system of white supremacy, a system for white genetic survival. But they don't focus on the system. They go call the system capitalism, they'll call the system democracy. But in reality, the system is about white genetic survival, which is why black people don't have a fighting chance. I mean, you have all kinds of manipulations, etc. But fundamentally, you have a system of racism, white supremacy that is not talked about.
Absolutely. Context of white supremacy. Again, our guest, third-generation physician, author, general and child psychiatrist, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. That is one thing. I try to make the best. I mean, it's horrific. Young black teenager shot and killed, unarmed, horrific situation, and all of the other incidents as well. But to try to make the most out of this, that this situation has forced many people, white and non-white, around the world to speak truthfully and recognize racism is a major problem. Within that dialogue, though, however, I would say it has not been very accurate to that system of white supremacy and really using the best terms to explain why these shootings continue to happen. I've heard a lot of people who have complained. They have complained about President Obama's response to all this, that he hasn't recognized racism as the reason for why these shootings keep happening. He did not make a presence, didn't visit St. Louis, Missouri, Ferguson specifically, in the midst of all of this turmoil when the National Guard was called in. I've heard a lot of black people, they've said, hey, President Obama, he can speak up for gay rights issues. He can speak up for women's rights issues that predominantly help white women. How come he cannot speak up and be vocal for black people when we are being literally slaughtered in the streets? What would your response be to folks who are frustrated with President Obama's response?
Well, I would say, number one, let's just look at what the system of racism, white supremacy does to President Obama, who is a black man. Even though his mother was white, he's a black man. That he is demeaned and degraded and frustrated in every attempt that he makes to respond to various problems. And when he came in office, the response on the part of the Congress that is overwhelmingly white and male was that we are going to try to make you fail. You see, so I would say basically he is a CEO of a company he doesn't own. That we are in a system of racism, white supremacy, that even though a black man is president, the preponderance of power is in the hands of people who classify themselves as white, and they will tell him what he's going to do and what he's not going to do, or whether he's going to be able to dialogue about race and racism, or whether he's not. Like, I have given a lot of praise to the Attorney General Eric Holder because he made the profoundly important statement, raised the question, are we a nation of cowards being unable to talk about racism? But I understand that he got in a lot of trouble and difficulty about that.
Ew, man.
Crazy, man.
What, like it used, I don't know nothing about this crime shit, but like, let's say you stole 2 dogs. Like, don't you want to get off the streets first?
Right.
Niggas stealing dogs in LA too.
We gotta take him for a walk first.
No, but hold on. No, but these Bamas stole 2 dogs, robbed somebody, and then like shot somebody else. Like in 30 minutes though.
Yeah.
Like not like in a week or a couple of days.
They was on a roll.
They didn't let nothing die down.
Did you see this to the places? They was all like, it takes a long time to get from
in DC. Yeah,
like, they was up to Brightwood and they got the Shaw and they was up over the Columbia. Like, it's impossible to get to those places.
You can't even drive normally to hit those spots in 30 minutes.
It's like Super Mario. You got to get all the coins.
These Bamas had the star power and shit.
Right.
That was gone.
Them niggas like.
Yeah, them niggas was definitely speeding wherever they. Cause I looked at that. I was up last night trying to figure out how the fuck they get from there to there. especially like, cause like, I mean, you understand, man. Coming down Georgia, like you even let's just say they took the back streets from Brightwood to Shaw. Let's just say that, like,
You still got to run lights.
but between that, they robbed 2 people of their dogs. Between the robbery and yeah, I think
it was definitely some theme music playing in the background or something.
I don't know. But look here we go. This is one right here. A shooting in Miami.
A deadly shooting. Police are investigating a deadly shooting at a Tampa strip club that happened just this morning.
Yeah, right before 2.
First context clue.
Strip
club.
This morning.
Yeah, right before 2
Easter
at Scores Gentlemen's Club on Dale Mabry. Annie Mapp is on
God.
the scene and joins us live there now. Annie, what's the latest?
Melissa Evan, the scene is
Second context clue. When they put a black person on the scene,
What you say, a black person at?
Melissa
they
Evan,
like you cover this one, Jay Shianta, because well, Aquanita.
Hold on, you say you'll smash? Also, you say you'll smash?
I'm not impressed with this one right here.
Nah.
I don't know. Osa, man, you it's late, man. It's late, man. Osa, like,
she looks non-binary. I don't know.
I've had a rough.
Non-binary.
Damn, she said non-binary. Yeah,
Osa had a couple drinks, man. Because when you get a couple drinks in you, man,
Get some of that Patron.
The scale, the Chantron.
She about 85% glider to me.
The Santron in him is coming out.
I put like this. I wouldn't holler at her in the club, but I would holler at her after parking lot pimping.
You a sneaky link.
Yeah, I wouldn't holler at her in the club though.
What nigga said? What a sneaky link? Entanglement. You said an entanglement. Hell yeah.
Man,
you coming over about 3 in.
Is she threw it?
Man, let me tell you something. I got about 100 of these on my resume, man. What you this is a major part of the Sun Man's diet, man.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, because she's going. She's about that life.
Yeah, what you talking about, man?
She's not stuck up. She's not stuck up and bougie and
right, man. This is like
I be on the news and shit, but that ain't paying my bills.
But she need qualifications. She need to be stamped. So
she ain't bad. I'm not saying she ugly enough.
Nah.
It's not a smash. Like
She
not like a,
she regular, definitely.
Like the glider right here. She's she's a little skinny, but maybe. Maybe I don't know. Whatever.
Come on, Ak. You just like this white lady.
What you think, Jimmy? What you think?
That's my glider queen.
She's a queen to
keep her name out your mouth.
Okay.
Oh, you ready to slap her?
Keep her MF name out your mouth. Is that what you mean?
So Jimmy, that's a smash, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh shit.
Jimmy smashed that joint, man. Jimmy,
yeah, of course. I mean, she got some nice hips. Very in shape. I like it.
Hey, man.
Hey, it may look like something tooted up on the side of the bed.
Hey, man. Listen, every dude in the NBA happens like this. 70% of the dudes in the NBA, wife look like that. Facts.
That's true.
What's the latest?
They win the dunk contest.
Melissa Evan, the scene is still very active. Like you said, officers have been here since before 2 this morning. As you can see, the parking lot here is still taped off right now. And over there where those cones are, we've seen investigators taking photos. They just picked up some markers that were on the ground. What we do know is 2 people in the parking lot got into an argument and shots were fired. 1 person died at the scene. We're told the other involved subject is cooperating with investigators. No word on criminal charges just yet. But again, this happened just before 2 this morning, and 1 person is now dead. This club normally closes at 3 a.m. It's unknown whether they had to shut down a little bit earlier following the shooting. But of course, as we learn more details from police, we will keep you updated. For now, reporting live in Tampa, Annie Mapp, 8 on your side.
All right.
Okay, so like it's a busy night. The Sun Man busy tonight.
Well, you know the
Yeah.
first people to ever shoot up a strip club, right?
Who's
White
that?
people.
That's true.
Yeah,
True.
so I don't even know why we're wasting our time on this stuff.
True. But they call them gentlemen's clubs. That's another context clue. If it was a white dude,
right?
Yeah, they try to throw gentlemen's club in there though. They said strip club, then they said gentlemen's club, then they went back to strip club.
They should have said script club. It's a script club.
Titty bar.
Hey, I got a link in the back chat for that Galleria shooting that happened yesterday.
Yeah, my bad. I keep forgetting. Let me see something, man. Let me just see this one. What is this? This is a shooting that happened.
When she's asked who's your ideal mate, she says tall, dark, and handsome. And what does she want at Valentine's Day? Chocolate. And preferably chocolate with nuts. Chocolate kisses. See, so this is not Frances Welsing making up material. This is just observing the culture and having a broad concept of what the culture and system is all about. And this is where, if I could wave a magic wand, I would want all black people to be, because if anything is going to put a break on racism, white supremacy, and the dynamics of behavior that we see being carried out in front of us, is black people articulating what the problem is.
He didn't say a word about, oh yeah, the more melanin, bigger they are, blacker you are, more likely we're going to do a Michael Brown Jr., Eric Garner on you. None of that. All he talked about was, oh man, the mistakes I made during the WTO. And yeah, pause just for one second. I said white people love to run around in the streets here in Seattle. That's why I got a billion reasons. How much time you got about not joining these protests or riots, urban unrest, whatever cute titles people want to put on it, foolishness it all is. One reason, white people love, in Seattle, they love to run around in the streets about anything. Gay rights, let's go protest. Plastic in the ocean, let's go protest. Sea turtles, let's go protest. Gay rights again, let's go protest. They killed a nigger, let's go protest. Anything, any excuse, let's go run around in the streets. Capitol Hill needed us to run around for a few minutes. Woo! I'm supposed to take this seriously?
Drop the bag, Taylor. Go on, Snake. Go on, man. Taylor, drop the bag.